Morning, Joe.
Nancy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
So today we're talking about depression glass, right?
Yes.
Just so everybody knows, and I don't know myself, could you give us sort of like a potted description of what exactly depression glass is?
Well, it was a machine-made glassware that was made in the 1920s through the 1940s.
Okay.
Very inexpensive, very, to my knowledge, very beautiful. About 26 companies made it, and it was made in 150 patterns over
Cool.
the years.
And it was, what little I do know, it was made, it was a nod towards cost. It was made efficiently, cheaply, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Something that was made sort of plentiful for the masses.
That's correct.
Cool. And what sort of places would you... you could buy this stuff outright, I would imagine, at the time when it was being produced.
Yes, you could buy some of it in smaller stores and everything, but a lot of times it was in cereal boxes like oatmeal, and also in the flour sacks. They used to get flour in sacks, you know.
It's almost like a Cracker Jack box kind of idea.
That's exactly what it was.
You would get an actual whole cup or something?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
You never knew what color you were getting or what
Right.
pattern you were getting, but then women traded.
Right. And then we were talking off camera, but tell me about your introduction to depression glass and how you got into this. I know there's some fond memories of your grandmother, right?
Yes. I remember when I was a little girl, my grandmother had the green sherbets, which, like this. And she served Jell-O and ice cream in them. And I just fell in love with it.
Wow, that's nice. So that's something like what your grandmother had?
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, she had them in the dining room in a cupboard, and I just loved them. Maybe I liked green. I don't know what it was, but can you picture them with vanilla ice cream and a cherry on
Oh
top?
yeah. Can I hold one too?
Sure. They're very.
Just to get a sense of it.
They're not flimsy. They have a lot of body to them. They're not easy to, break unless you drop it on the concrete.
They do break, but they're pretty hardy.
Oh, yeah.
This is something that someone can use in their life now, I would imagine.
Yes,
This stuff's highly
absolutely.
durable.
Absolutely.
Let the kids still eat ice cream out of it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Certain pieces.
I think it would develop for them what it did for me. Maybe not, but...
Yeah. Are there certain things that are more collectible than others? Certain pieces that you look for?
Well, the most popular pink pattern and green was the cherry blossom. This is cherry blossom. It comes in pink and green and other colors too, but most dominantly in pink and green.
Very cool. What would a piece like that go for now?
Well, I have $16 on this and $8 on this, but I always give people a nice discount.
Right.
Because that's what people like when they're antique shopping.
Yep.
They want you to do a little bit better for
A
them.
little haggle room.
That's what the fun of it is.
Yeah, of course. And what's the, are there now certain producers that are more coveted than others? Certain, like manufacturers that the collectors want to find?
I don't think they look so much for manufacturers anymore. There were, as I said, about 23 companies that did it. Hazel Atlas was very popular, very plain. Fenton made it, and that's the company that was the most recent to shut down. I don't think any of the other companies are open anymore.
Right.
And Fenton probably shut down about 10 years ago.
Right.
And they're still highly collectible, the Fentons.
So no one's really making this.
To my knowledge, no.
Right.
No. It's history.
Is there like a moment that sticks out in your head as far as a favorite find or something that that was like an aha moment? I found one of these, or a certain kind of piece, or
Well, the thing that sticks out the most is when I was starting. When there was a neighborhood yard sale in my neighborhood in Philadelphia, and I went around the block, and there were two sisters there having a little sale, and they had an interesting looking suitcase there. So I asked them how much it was, and they said $3, and it was my dear sister's. And
Right.
that's what I remember about how it was her dear sister's. And when I got it home and opened it up, there were 3 fur coats in there and 2 pieces of Roseville, which
Okay.
were all the Roseville was very valuable at the time.
right?
And the fur coats I took to work, and everybody tried them on, and we had a ball. But that's my,
That's the find.
yeah. Also, the butter dishes. The butter dishes. Here, I'll put that away. As far as, something like that I really like, the butter dishes.
Oh yeah.
I went to an auction.
Which one do you like here? Let's grab one out.
Well, I kind of like this one. This is real pretty.
Let's bring that one over.
Mhm.
We'll show this one off.
This one is the atom pattern.
And again, this is something that you could bring into your life and use now.
Oh, yes.
I would imagine, yeah.
Absolutely. Butter comes in a different shape. They used to make their own butter, and they made it in bowls and stuff so it was round. But you can cut a stick of butter in half and fit it in there.
Yep.
Or you could even just put the little butter pats in there, whatever you want to do. Or the soft butter. But when I found these at an auction, they didn't know what they had,
Right.
and they said they were candy dishes.
Right.
And I had others that I sold, so I got about 12 of these, and I just love them.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And do you still use this stuff at home yourself? Do you have pieces that you kind of keep out in your
Oh,
life?
yes. Yes. I have some in my living room on a hutch. I have some in the dining room, and I have like cobalt. I have some of these in my kitchen on the cupboards that I use occasionally. That's the cobalt.
Very nice.
So, and this blue bubble, as I said, I have that I used to use for the kids. And it just looks pretty in a cupboard. Like for instance, the Miss America over there, that's a whole set for $8. Isn't that beautiful in a cupboard?
The rose colored?
Yeah. That's Miss America.
Wow, you have a whole set here.
Yes, service for $8. This is interesting because, now we buy our lemonade and our iced tea all ready made for us because we're so busy today. Not that they weren't. They
Right.
were very busy. But I remember, in the summertime, we would make iced tea or lemonade for dinner, and that was one of my jobs where I got to do the lemons for my mom.
What do you think, who's your typical customer when it comes to depression glass? Are they people that sort of have these fond memories from the past as well?
I don't know. I never asked them.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, a lot of people are coming in now with their little black lights because they check the green glass out.
Right.
And they don't call it depression glass. They call it uranium glass.
Okay.
Which kind of, but it does have uranium in, and when the black light shines on it, it glows.
So that's something that's interesting that we hadn't talked about.
Yeah.
That this might find a modern audience because of the fact that this stuff will glow.
That is definitely a modern audience.
Right.
And
I mean, young kids could be coming in and buying this stuff simply because they're going to turn on a black light and they have these items glowing around the apartment or something.
can you imagine having a whole cupboard with black lights in it and it's all glowing?
So that's what we got to
Beautiful.
get, is somebody to come in here with this idea that they're setting up a new spot and to have cupboards or maybe like cabinets with like the glass doors and black lights and all this stuff which can be used can be used in a table setting today could be a display item as well, and the fact that it's glowing from their cabinets.
It can be done very easily.
Now I want to see that.
Okay, now
We need to get someone in here
now you can
that.
start collecting,
Right, exactly.
and it could be yours. You know, it's amazing. It really is beautiful when it glows.
Very cool. Nancy, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And thank you for telling us about depression glass.
Okay.
Really
well,
interesting.
If you have any more questions, just give me a call.
Any more
I'll try to
questions?
answer 'em.
Any more questions? Ask for Nancy.
Okay.
All right. Thank
I'll be
you.
happy to answer them. I have to
Yeah.
get her.
There's always something new at the old Enderworks.
If anyone has a chance to go to a depression glass show, if it's within 100 miles of you, you should definitely go because
Right.
it's just all inspiring.
I would
It's
imagine.
beautiful.